Art is in everything. It is in a gesture, a vase, a cooking pan, a glass, a sculpture, a piece of jewellery, a way of carrying yourself. Making love is an art. Charlotte Perriand. Charlotte Perriand had a curious outlook on the world around her and was an integral figure in the modernist movement. To this day, she inspires and influences contemporary designers all over the world who are seeking to design for a better way of living. Who is Charlotte Perriand? Perriand was born October 24, 1903 in Paris, France. She was raised by her tailor father and seamstress mother in the bustling city, but would enjoy many the weekend away, visiting her grandparents in the snowy hills of Savoy. At 17, Perriand attended École de l'Union Centrale des Arts Décoratifs and would study furniture design for 5 years from 1920 to 1925. Although trained by the more classic teachings, she would break from the decorative school to pursue exploration in the new materials like sheet metal and tubular steel. Perriand would soon establish herself as a pioneer in the modernist movement. 2 years after graduating, she designed Bar sur le Toit for the Salon d'Automne in 1927. Her exhibit was a homage to new materials that were being produced as a result of the Industrial Revolution. The display included a wide use of steel, aluminium, and nickel throughout. Perriand would continue to educate herself in all areas of design by reading books and attending workshops and small classes where she could. Amongst the books read were those of Le Corbusier. She was inspired by his outlook on the world and would shortly after pursue a career in his atelier. "We don't embroider cushions here," Le Corbusier. Even after being met with disdain from Le Corbusier, she would invite him to the Salon d'Automne to view her work. He was enamoured with her use of materials and hired her to design the furniture, a job in which he had little interest in. Perriand would work alongside Le Corbusier and Generet for 10 years, contributing in the production of some iconic pieces. Some of those include the chaise longue, LC4, revolving armchair, easy chair, and armchair with a tilting back, and all of which her name was left off the authorship in the early 20th century in lieu of the towering reputation of Le Corbusier. When asked about it by Martin Mead from Architecture Review in 1984, Perriand's response was, "I couldn't care less. Why did it happen? It is simple. From a commercial point of view, the name Le Corbusier sings. 3 names doesn't have the same resonance. But the labels on the Cassina edition do say Creation 1929, Le Corbusier, Generet, Perriand." Irrespective of the lack of recognition for her work related to the furniture pieces, Charlotte would continue her design journey with passion and drive. Perriand was socially conscious and practiced in a way that would consider the human scale at all times, a belief that form and function should be of service to man. Perriand and Generet's design for the Refuge Tonneau in 1938 showcased her concern for those hiking in the mountains and getting stuck in bad weather. They were designed to sleep up to 8 people. The design considered lightweight materials that were simple to assemble and disassemble, with adjustable legs to make it more stable on uneven ground. Charlotte Perriand deeply believed that good design should be fundamentally transformative and accessible to all. She had a love of nature and was intrigued by the issues of climate change very early on, although she would come to know it just as being conscious of the impact of humans on the planet. Her time in Asia allowed her to experiment with bamboo rather than traditional non-sustainable oak. She understood that her earlier works using chrome were not only expensive, but not environmentally conscious either. An exhibition titled Synthesis of the Arts was curated by Perriand for the Takashima department store in Tokyo, 1955. It embraced nature and featured a range of previously designed pieces that were recreated in the 1940s using environmentally sustainable materials. It was here that she embraced the concept of creating a space that includes art in many forms so as to soothe the soul. Tapestries by Le Corbusier ceramics by Picasso, and works by Liga and Matisse were all displayed alongside with her new furniture pieces. I did not know what to expect when I visited Charlotte Perriand's apartment for the first time, remembers Gary. Sure, I knew about her beautiful furniture designs and her work with Le Corbusier, but I was not prepared for what I experienced firsthand, her mastery of space and composition. Everything was exquisitely composed at the human scale, immediate but not contrived. It was clear to me that she understood sculpture in the highest sense of the word, as the relationship between objects in the world. Today, the influence of women designers is felt on a wider scale. Perhaps the fight for recognition by the 20th century women designers has forged a way for women of our time to take authorship of our designs from the start. Take Neri Oxman, for example. Oxman, 40, is an impressive human being. After serving her mandatory military service in the Israeli Air Force, she studied for a short time at medical school before following in the footsteps of her parents and transferring to study architecture at Technon Israel Institute of Technology. During her 4th year, Oxman transferred to the Architectural Association in London and would go on to earn her PhD in design computation at MIT. Neri's work, whilst it might not be directly influenced by modernist design, definitely parallels the ideals in that she has a long view on where design needs to be, and she is creating new materials to enable a better way of living. Oxman coined the term material ecology to describe what it is she is trying to achieve with her work. Together with the Mediated Matter Group at MIT, they combine engineering, art, science, and technology to explore new materials and allow us to build a future in which we consider nature and grow what we need rather than assemble it. It is the definition of ecology, the branch in biology that deals with the relations between organisms and their physical surroundings, applied to all things man-made or human-designed, she said. Biology is far more refined and sophisticated than material practices involved in polymers, concrete, steel, and glass. But what if we could change that by creating new technologies that can vary the physical properties of matter at a resolution and sophistication that approaches that of the natural world? One such example of this is the Silk Pavilion that explores, on an architectural scale, the relationship between digital and biological fabrication. Using silkworms in this way allowed them to build the structure without the need for boiling the worms in their cocoons, as is common practice, to create something using the silk thread. Another project that involved the use of new materials were a range of wearable skins titled Wanderers, an astral biological exploration, and it included 4 pieces that were created to be embedded with living matter, making interplanetary voyages a possibility. Oxman also designed Gemini, in collaboration with Professor W. Craig Carter, a chaise that explores the interaction between pairs, sonic and solar, hard and soft, natural and synthetic materials, just to name a few. The chaise provides a human with a stimulation-free environment with its semi-enclosed capsule-like form that makes the user feel as though they could be in a prenatal state. Neri Oxman believes in designing for the future using new methods and discarding tradition, which aligns with the modernist principles in a contemporary way. In my research group, we believe in the future. We will not build our products and our architecture, but rather we will grow them. In brief, we can learn a lot from the life of Charlotte Perriand and the way in which she conducted herself in a male-dominated society as a 20th century woman in design. Her strong will, pure talent, and ability to forge strong connections throughout the design field all helped to shape the designer she was. Despite the misogynistic views of the time that kept her name off quite a few projects, it is important to note that that did not stop her from focusing on what was important to her, creating a better way to live for as many people as possible. Finally, both Perriand and Oxman were and are acutely aware that designers have a responsibility to continually anticipate the changing needs of our lifestyles, and we should all be sure to take that on board as we venture into our own design journey. Everything changes so quickly, and what is state-of-the-art one moment won't be the next. Adaptation has to be ongoing. We have to know and accept these. These are transient times. Charlotte Perriand.